We are migrating 3 Bubble apps with thousands of users to Next.js. We found that if you know how to drag a repeating group in Bubble and do a search for, you already understand how to display data in Next.js. In this video, we are connecting to Supabase, fetching some listings from the database and displaying them in a table. We'll use AI to do all the heavy lifting. For those new here, I run a dev agency and school community. This video can be watched on its own, but FYI, this is a series where I show how to build a simple marketplace using Next.js plus Supabase. Playlist link below. Let's start. All right. So in the previous video, we set up a database structure in Supabase for our listings, and we set up some privacy rules and RLS policies, and we added a status active, inactive, and tweaked those policies a little bit. In this video, what we're going to be doing is just displaying the data on the front end. So similar to what we would do in Bubble, is to go to the design tab, drag a repeating group, do a search for, and try and add the columns and headings and whatnot. We're going to replicate that in code. I've got a separate video on the developer setup environment. I'll link it. When you create a Bubble app, you get all these components, right? Where do these come from in code? There's lots of component libraries. The one I like to prefer using and recommend, and LLMs like it as well, is Shadcn. And it's the same. You just go to components. It's like, okay, there's like a button component, or there's like alert dialog, okay, modal. There's a whole bunch of like types of components here. What we're going to be needing is the table component, okay, which is kind of like equivalent to the repeating group here. But how do I start a project? I've got a separate video on tech stack as well, which I can link. If we're using Next.js alongside Supabase, you can connect other tech stacks as well with Supabase, which is a separate backend. But Next.js is what we are migrating some of our large Bubble apps to as well. So installation, Next.js, npx Shadcn latest init, copy this, open our terminal, and just let it run, okay? The default options are fine, so I'll just do Next.js. Project name is episode 1, and it takes a little while, but what's this doing? It's basically like creating a new Bubble app, sort of pre-configured with Shadcn as the components, okay? You can use Tailwind. There's a whole bunch of others that you can use as well. So the default neutral color is fine. You can change the color palettes if you want later as well. It's just setting up some dependencies, and it's just got a file. So there's not much in this. If I go inside episode 1 and open Visual Studio Code, there's not much. It kind of looks scary because it's code, but actually, what is it? It's a README file, which is like, if you run npm run dev, then you start the server. Package.json is kind of like the equivalent of Bubble's sort of like plugin area, okay? These are the various plugins that we've just loaded here. Components.json is more like, okay, this is around Shadcn. Public is just a set of public files that gets loaded in assets. The key file is the page file, okay? The app folder and the page file. Most of the time will be spent in the app folder, some time will be spent in the lib folder, and some time in the component folder. After a little while, there's nothing to be scared about all of this. Claude will handle all of it for us anyways, but it's just helpful to know and navigate our way around the folder structure sometimes. It's like, okay, how can I do this? So I can just run the development server, which is equivalent to trying to click the preview button, okay? So let me open a terminal, and it's like npm run dev. That's all. On my local computer, it will start a development server, and then I'm like, okay, this is literally a basic boilerplate blank app in a sense, okay? If I save and see your changes instantly, Zubair, save it, and I look, see and save your changes instantly, Zubair, okay? I don't know how people used to be able to do this without AI, but well, they used to do it. Wizards. We are gonna start a AI agent, so Claude, okay? And I want to connect Claude to, now, one thing to keep in mind, Bubble or any no-code platform, one of their greatest strengths was that it was a full stack, okay? And very integrated, okay? So this folder right now has no connection with our Supabase, okay? And we have to make these connections ourselves. And Claude can help us with all of that. If you're serious about this transition, subscribe to the channel. I plan on posting weekly about AI coding content. Now, how do I connect this particular folder on my computer with Supabase in the backend? So if I go to Supabase and see this connect option, go to app frameworks, it already gives instructions on what's the URL of this backend, what is the anonymous key to access this backend. And there's a whole bunch of other frameworks. We are not using these. We are using Next.js. So right now I've connected the project Next.js, the code base, to Supabase. I have not connected this AI agent to Supabase. I want to connect this AI agent to Supabase directly. And to do that, we need what's called the MCP connection. Okay. So Supabase has a guide on how to install MCP for your AI AI agent and IDE and everything. But basically I just selected my project, which was the marketplace, the server URL, selected my client, and it gave me a configuration to add. Okay, the actual configuration, I'll just copy this. The actual configuration it says is to add this to .claude.json, which will install it globally, assuming that we just have one Supabase kind of like connection via MCP. I actually have multiple projects and different code bases, so I want to install it on my local folder. So I'm just going to give it an extra instruction, install the MCP in the .mcp.json file. The .mcp.json file is local to this place. This will isolate my project from my other projects. Okay, so I do need to restart. It also told me I need to restart Claude, so I'll exit it and then I'll do Claude/resume because I want to resume my previous conversation. Found a new MCP server. Should I use this? Yes, use this. And then resume this thread and /mcp. So Supabase connected. So I'm already logged in, but for the first time when you do this, you'll have to re-authenticate. And I'll do it again to just show you. What will happen is that it'll give me a URL here. So I'll just copy this URL, open it in the browser, and it will ask for permission. Can you authorize access to Claude Code to do everything on this project? Read and write access. You can have read access only as well to keep it safe, and read and write access as well. So I'll just authorize Claude Code, and that will connect my AI agent through MCP, Model Context Protocol, to Supabase backend, which allows it to run queries, do everything we were trying to do using this assistant. Claude is just way smarter in doing that. So authentication is successful. Return here. It should be getting it. Authentication successful. Reconnected Supabase. Okay, so now I can ask Claude to get the schema, understand the table. We're on the Sonnet model. Opus is better, but Sonnet is fine. I've already maxed out my limit. Okay, so from the Supabase MCP, get the schema and get the contents of the listings table. So our AI agent has a limited memory and context. It does not know of our schema, and it does not know of our Next.js project either to an extent. It knows a little bit, like the way it manages context is a bit different. It has access to claude.md file on each execution, but we have to build context, okay? Up until now, it knows, oh, there's two listings, there's active, inactive, owned by two different users, two different status IDs. Now it's understood the schema. Okay, now that it has understood the schema, I can tell it, okay, on the default page, I want to add a table and I want to just display these. Okay, so let's just go to Shadcn, find the table component, data table, this one. Okay, I want to, on the main page, just display a table of all the listings using this Shadcn table component. Keep in mind, I'm recording YouTube tutorial explaining Bubble developers how to transition to Next.js. So keep everything super simple. If I had not given the super simple instructions, boy, does it complicate a whole bunch of stuff. But the complication is best practices or over engineering best practices. So it asked me, should I install the table? I'm like, yeah, go ahead, install the table. While this is crunching tokens, like this video so that other no-code devs hear about it. So what did that do? That just installed this particular file, which is the definition of a table. Okay, there's nothing scary about this. This is basically the equivalent to some component here. Okay, some repeating group code. So it needs the base component. Okay, so that's what the npx install Shadcn table installed, the base component. There are boilerplates which will come pre-baked with like hundreds of components, but that starts cluttering the code base and it's harder to learn with this. I tend to prefer learning by layering one small slice at a time so that you can easily understand what's going on here. After making the component, the next thing it did was to write lib Supabase. Okay, there was no Supabase code here. Lib Supabase is basically a case of, okay, my Next.js, my backend is Supabase. This is how to get it. And then it's written the code to display the database table. Okay, so let me try and view it. Yeah, so this is a good example of how the LLM base knowledge can be slightly outdated. Okay, so the preference is to give it more latest knowledge. Okay, so it seems to say that it's done, but it's only done if we step by step check along the way that it's done or not done. We can take a look at the code as well. The code is not that complicated. Okay, the code is just import Supabase library, import table, show some h1, which is my listings, then a table header, a table body. Okay, and what you see with this listings.map, this thing is the equivalent to a do a search for. Okay, And when you see table cell, that's the current cell. This is current cell row index name, current cell index description. It has already noted there's a small TypeScript warning about listing type. Do you want me to fix it? I was like, okay, please fix. Depending on which model you're using, it will make less or more mistakes. It's like if you choose GPT-3, you chose an intern who does not know coding and you asked it to write the code, it will make mistakes. If you choose Opus 4.1 Claude, which is the current best in class as of October 2025, I think, or GPT-5, it's like, okay, you chose a junior developer and you asked it to do it and it can do stuff. It can do it better. But it's fixed a little bit of its own error. And if we switch to the front end and see what's going on, we see that it's got a little bit of an error. What it has forgotten to do, I'm on Sonnet at the moment. When I was preparing for the tutorial, Opus got it in one shot. Now Sonnet has forgotten that I have not actually installed Supabase in the project. The plugin has not been installed essentially. So if I go to package.json, there's no mention of Supabase here. Okay, that's what it has forgotten to do. Opus doesn't forget like that. But I can tell the error because I've done this a few times, but I just copy pasted the error and it will understand itself. Oh, I forgot to install. See, we need to install the JavaScript client npm install. And once you add it, it will install the plugin. This line appeared here. Now that this plugin has been installed, the package is updated. If we alt tab and switch, we've got a working product. So we just placed a repeating group and we just fetch listings and we only see active listings because I haven't created any login. This is just placing a repeating group and then do a search for listings. The privacy rules allow anonymous to view them and active ones are visible as well. Fairly similar. Hopefully you're following that the patterns are generally quite similar. That's what I wanted to explain with this YouTube series. It's like, okay, you know what? We've been coding in Bubble all the time. We just don't know how to code using AI in this new world now. And once you get the hang of the basics, you're like, okay, this is fairly straightforward and okay. All right. So just a quick recap. We made the design tab component repeating group do a search query current cell equivalent in a blank new Next.js project, connected Next.js to Supabase, connected Claude AI agent to Supabase through MCP. In the next video, we're going to try and make it login. Okay, it's not that hard. It's similar. In Bubble, it's log the user in. In Supabase, it's Supabase, log the user in kind of thing. And we make AI do the heavy lifting anyways. This is a good time to mention our new school community. There's about 100 of us. Many of these people are no-code developers or Bubble developers transitioning to AI code. I've got complete 0 to 1 SaaS build in the classroom section. And there's live weekly Q&As happening as well to brainstorm any roadblock. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.